What's going on, folks? Welcome back to We the Champs. So good to be here with you. And just got one thing I would like to say. Football is back, full blown back, all right? I know it's college football week 2 just passed, and that's what this video is. However, NFL is back full slate, no breaks for another 17 weeks. So I hope y'all are excited as I am. I'm your host, Jalen of We the Champs, the best sports show ever, dopest sports show ever. But thank you guys. Do me a quick favor, hit that like, subscribe, comment, notify, whatever you want to do. Let's get into the mix. All right. So college football week 2, man. It's a lot of craziness going on already. It's like, it's like they're cooking it up, bro. It's already in the frying pan, just straight sizzling, man. I'm loving this. You're seeing upsets around here, teams that are supposed to win very convincingly in really close games and not winning. Then we having surprise blowouts, and the college football madness is already here, okay? Let's get into one game that I was very disappointed with, and that's Northern Illinois is upsetting Notre Dame. All right, so in the past, Northern Illinois has always been a somewhat proud football program. They've had good seasons. I remember back in the day when I was a kiddo, they had Jordan Lynch at quarterback. I remember I think he made it as a Heisman finalist or whatever. But anyways, beside that, disappointing, I say, because of Notre Dame. I was pretty high on Notre Dame coming into this season. They had the matchup against Texas A&M last week. Won that. That was actually a game, but they won it convincingly. I believe they won 23-13 by 2 scores. It was a balling ass game. I'm like, all right, Notre Dame can do something this season. And you look at their schedule, it's like, okay, they can run the table on the schedule. The toughest game on there prior to the season starting was Texas A&M, Florida State, and USC at the end. Now, Florida State's not looking like a pretty formidable opponent. They can be when that time comes around. However, if we're talking about Notre Dame right now, we're looking at a team that had high hopes of the college football playoffs. I know the top 4 seeds go to the conference champions, and they're not in a conference, so they're independent. So they could have got a 5 seed if they really ran the table with their schedule and ended up being undefeated. But that's not the case anymore. This Northern Illinois game was a game that was on the schedule that's just supposed to be taken care of, and Notre Dame failed to do that. I feel like they might be a bit limited on offense. If you come out against them with a great game plan, and if you have the right players in those positions to execute that game plan, then that can really spell trouble for Notre Dame. And that's obviously what happened in this situation. And big props to Northern Illinois for getting this. All right. So let me just take a peep right here. Notre Dame, you got Purdue, Miami, Ohio, Louisville. So now if we're talking about Notre Dame, we're looking at they got knocked to number 18. Okay. So now we're looking at the possibility of them climbing their way back into the college football playoffs. And from looking at the schedule, the strength of that loss is tarnishing. Notre Dame's going to have to run the table here. All right. So looking at the ranked teams they have left, Louisville as of right now, and USC at the end. So I'm still ride with this team just a little bit. I think they can run the table here. USC, they're starting on a really hot note, especially after that victory against LSU. So I'm going to just stick with Notre Dame a little bit right here. I still think they'll play the schedule out. As long as USC and Louisville stay relevant in the AP 25 rankings, or what is soon to come out in however many weeks, the college football playoff rankings, Notre Dame can really turn things around here, okay? All right. Let's talk about this. Damn, Prime. So Colorado loses 10-28 in rivalry game to Nebraska Cornhuskers. And from what this game showed is what we typically see, man. What's been the issue with Colorado, and that's just their power in the trenches. The football game starts in the trenches. I mean, you can have Heisman hopefuls and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, arguably the best quarterback in college football, and arguably the best player in college football in Travis Hunter here. However, if there's no push, then there's no mush. I just made that one up, guys. I've never said that before. But yeah, so it all starts with the O-line here. They're just smacking up Sanders. I think they had 6 sacks in this game, maybe 8 last year. That's far too many, man. He just has no time to make any magic happen. I mean, he holds on. It's not good that he already holds on to the ball for a durated time. But damn, bro, at this level, it's just snap. Everybody's in the backfield already going to Shedeur. And every throw he's trying to make is a difficult throw. Like, it's tough out there. And it also doesn't help that there is no run game going on for Colorado. I believe they had 32 yards rushing in this matchup. Dude, yeah, this is ridiculous. So Colorado had a total of 16 rushing yards. I guess they had negative plays from Shedeur, minus 30, which is obscene. It's like the force of this team on the offensive side is just going backwards, So it's every throw Shedeur is making is it's just a tough throw. I mean, Dallin Hayden, I'm assuming that's the starting running back, 5 carries for 32 yards. All the pressure's on the quarterback in this situation, and you can't be stagnant like that. I mean, they have to do something. They have to motion some guys, move the pocket, or whatever. We have to see more on this offensive creativity side of the ball for Colorado. And props to Nebraska. One thing I want to say about Colorado is you can definitely tell their defense is playing a bit better. With this pressure on the offense, what was the time of possession? Time of possession, Nebraska had the ball for a total of 11 more minutes than Colorado did. So, that can affect the defense in big ways too. So props to them for making improvements on the defensive side of the ball. And big props to Nebraska. They're looking good. This was a very convincing win, and now they're in the rankings. I believe they are number 23 or 24. And the AP rank is 23 right now. So Nebraska is trying to build up some steam, build up some momentum. And I believe in the future with this quarterback at the helm and Dylan Raiola, dude, that guy's kind of big too. Let's look up Raiola's size. He looks like 6'4", 230, or I read 230 before, but I'm like, what? Yeah, this dude is a really big quarterback. Okay. He's 6'3". But I believe within the next 1 or 2 years, Nebraska can be it says 229, so around there. I believe they can be a really strong program in the college football world. They're a historical program already. They've had a ton of success. This has been a college football powerhouse with Matt Rule at the helm, and you got your true freshman quarterback at that. So they have to play him. He has to play for another 2 seasons after this. Watch out for Nebraska in a few years, all right? Colorado, let's get it together, man. All right. So another game that I was really excited about was Iowa State and Iowa. So Iowa State got the win, the interstate rivalry win. And with recent history, Iowa State has been the younger brother to Iowa. As we know, both of these teams have always had somewhat offensive limitations in what they brought to the table. And this year wasn't supposed to be the case for neither team. But again, we had another defensive showdown, 20-19. Iowa State got the win. This was a good one, man. I want to shout out Rocco Beck. He's a sophomore now, sophomore quarterback. And I believe he was the Big Ten. Let's see here. Yes, he was the Big 12. Rocco Beck was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year at the quarterback. So I expected him to put up some gaudy performances. And this one was really good. He had finished with 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, 23-35 on attempts and completions. And this game went down to the wire. It started off pretty bad. It wasn't looking bad. Field position, like every play, every drive I was looking, Iowa State was literally within their 5-yard line to the goal line, the opposing team in Iowa. But, yeah, they came down the stretch here, won on a game-winning field goal, a nice little final drive for Rocco Beck and the team in Iowa State. So going forward, watch out for Iowa State. I say this every episode. They're my dark horse to win the Big 12 this season. Big 12 is Big 12. We got Utah. Utah had a close one against Baylor. Kansas State had a close one against Tulane. Tulane is not a bad team. Tulane actually finished 11-3 last year. All right. And then Kansas let me down, man. Kansas, what the hell was that? Kansas lost 17-23 to Illinois. It's like, bro, what is going on here? That was a weird one, man. I didn't expect that from Illinois. I know they were doing all right, but hey, it's college football. It happens, right? Okay. Let's move on. So let's talk about some tiers here. All right. So I have the elites. Lightning bolt football. Georgia and Texas. All right. And I know some of you are going to be like, oh, where's Ohio State? Oh, where's Bama? Oh. Let me give you my reasoning for putting this like this. All right. So I like Georgia and Texas because they have 2 big convincing wins already on the slate. All right. So just know these tiers. And what I think about this, what I believe about the college football landscape will change. But for right now, Georgia and Texas were already AP top 5 teams, ranked super high. They blew out a team, and they already beat a somewhat talented, formidable team by a large margin, So we had Georgia. They bust down Clemson last week, and they beat the hell out of Tennessee Tech this week. All right, Georgia's already there. They're Georgia. And we have Texas. Who the hell did Texas play last week? Anyways, Texas busted down Colorado State 52-0 and won very, very convincingly over Michigan this past weekend. And little on that game, it was what I expected. My dad texted me. It was like, hey, take Texas on the spread. Michigan to be lucky they probably won't even score a touchdown. And best believe they only scored 1 touchdown. You just saw the difference in experience in this game, the huge roster turnover rate. So as far as championship hopes for Michigan, we could probably toss that, honestly. However, there's still a chance this team can get a college football playoff spot and have a really good record down the season. So don't worry about Michigan. Just know where to really have your expectations for them this season. But Texas, Texas is tough, man. And what I love most about this is October 19th, Georgia heads down to Texas and plays. So if both of these teams are still rocking it, we'll probably see a in-season, regular season 1-2 matchup right here, okay? And then Georgia's Georgia, man. So two similarities of this team. They have Heisman hopefuls, Heisman contenders, Carson Beck, and Quinn Ewers. And so not much to say about these teams. They're freaking loaded, man. Yeah, so excited to see what they bring. But Georgia has a bit of a tougher schedule. They go to Kentucky this weekend, and we have to go down to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. We play Auburn at home, and then that Texas game in a few weeks. So, Georgia has some exciting things coming. And who's up next for Texas? UTSA, UL Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Georgia. Yeah, Texas doesn't have a crazy schedule, man. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's keep it moving here. And these are my secondary elites. Lightning Bolt football. All right. We have Ohio State, Alabama, Mississippi, Penn State, Tennessee, Miami, USC, Missouri, and Utah. All right. So let me give you the spiel. Like I said before, I know, Ohio State's not in your elites with the 3 Thunderbolts. All right. That's cool. Not saying Ohio State doesn't belong there. They just haven't had a convincing win yet. That they haven't had a strong victory yet. I mean, let's look. They blew out Akron, they blew out Western Michigan, and they play Marshall this week. All right, they play Michigan State. They don't play a pretty formidable team until week 5 against Iowa. All right, they should win that game. Then they play Oregon the following weekend and Nebraska, then Penn State. So the bulk of their schedule is going to come in the middle of the season, back to back to back to back. All right, so we'll definitely have some more clear-cut answers about Ohio State then. Yeah, so some of these games can be tough. Oregon, I know Oregon's a little not Oregon-ish, so we'll see. We'll see. All right, we have Alabama here. Alabama plays Georgia in a few coming weeks. They actually had a little bit of a scare against USF. I was looking, I think it was all right. Let's see how this game was scored. Yeah, this was a really close game going into the fourth quarter. I believe it was 10, 16. It was like this was really weird. This was a really weird game. Alabama is only up 1 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And then they just put it on them. They dropped it 16-42. I don't know I don't know too much to think about it. I'd have to watch some film and really get back with you guys about that competition. But I mean, they came through. They laid it on late. Avoided an upset at home, 42-16, Alabama. All right, and let's see. They haven't had their tough match yet. They play Wisconsin this week, and then they go to Bama, play Tennessee, Missouri later, LSU. Woo! Oh, yeah, it's going to come. It's coming. And Ole Miss, I have them right here for the same reason I have Ohio State here. Ole Miss has only played Furman. Damn, 76-0. Damn. And Mid-Tennessee, 52-3. They play Wake Forest, Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina, then it comes up LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas. Arkansas can be tough at that time. Then Georgia. So that's coming up for Ole Miss in this high octane offense. Penn State. I'm still big on Penn State. Bowling Green is not a bad team. They escaped Bowling Green. That was a scare right there, 34-27. But let's not overreact to that. Bowling Green is actually a solid football program. It could have just been a game they were overlooking on the schedule. It's not quite like Oregon and having 2 scares back-to-back against Idaho and Boise State, which Boise State can have a good football program sometimes, all right? And we have Tennessee putting it on NC State. That was very, very, very impressive right there. In Tennessee, I believe Tennessee's in the same realm as Nebraska. with the super young quarterback, and they got to go on Tennessee. This could be Tennessee's year. I doubt it, but there's a lot of hype around them in the early preseason, and especially with that quarterback Nico. So we can see here. I live right up the street. I'm glad I didn't go to that damn game. All right, and then Miami. Miami. Let's see what Miami did here this weekend. They blew out somebody. Was it Florida A&M? Gosh, dude. So many scores to keep up with and stuff, y'all. Florida A&M. They busted down Florida A&M 56-9. Okay. Miami. Now, I wanted to put Miami in the elites with Georgia and Texas, but I don't think the poll is respecting them enough. And I mean, which is fair. Honestly, they haven't had a dynamic matchup. Now, you can say the Florida game is 41-17, but Florida is not going to win many games this season. So, yeah, but that was still an impressive victory in total. Miami's big matchup, you can say Louisville on October 19th. Then Florida State was supposed to be one. Yeah, Florida State's about to be undefeated, guys. No, I'm sorry. Miami is about to be undefeated, guys. All right. And so Miami might hover right outside of that top 5 echelon for most of the season, just because the strength of the schedule here. They don't play any other top 10 teams right here. It should be smooth sailing for Miami for the remainder of the schedule. Now, I'm taking them to win the ACC. They're my preseason pick for winning the ACC. So they will, even though they probably won't make it in that top 4 spot just because of the strength of their schedule during the season, they'll automatically get a top 4 seed and a bye week in the college football playoffs because they will be the ACC championships. They'll get that berth, all right? Then we have USC. You know, USC took care of LSU, and they beat the hell out of – who the heck was it? Sorry, guys. There's so many teams to keep up with. All right. Utah State. All right. Then USC plays Michigan. Okay. And then Penn State. Then, of course, they have Notre Dame. They play Nebraska. So we're going to see USC be tested again very, very soon. I like them right here in the secondary tiers. You got Missouri, man. Missouri is a super sleeper, guys. Watch out for Missouri. So Missouri dusted off Buffalo 30-0. They have a good one, a home game against Boston College this week. Boston College has moved up to the rankings to number 24. So that's one definitely to keep your eyes out for. But Missouri definitely deserves this number 6 spot in the rankings. Excited to see what they have going on this year. And looking at their schedule, they could also slide into that college football playoffs for sure. All right. And we have Utah. Utah had a really close game against Baylor. That's just how I see Utah, man. Just that tough defense, busting teams down, making it hard for them to do anything, to breathe or whatever. I don't see Utah as a team necessarily beating the spread, all right? But I do see them as a high-caliber team, and they're still my favorite to win the Big 12 at the moment. But yes, we put Utah on those secondary elites. And then the third-string teams. All right. I put a few here. However, there's probably others we can cycle in there. Oregon still somehow in the top 10 after these lackluster victories. Boise State has a good program, and they play tough sometimes. So not taking away too much from that game. It still was a pretty good battle. Oregon got it done. They finished them. Oklahoma State. I might have Oklahoma State up higher. Actually, I would like to have them up higher. They should catch a break here against Tulsa. I felt that Arkansas game was going to be a tough matchup, and what do you expect? It happened, all right? And then they play Utah the week after Tulsa, so that will be a big one. big one. All right. One thing with Oklahoma State was the passing game. And Alec Bowman, this is a very, very mature team in Oklahoma State. So in situations where they have to make things happen, I believe that's possible. And I just want to see Ollie Gordon tote that thing. You know what I mean? Y'all like, this boy Southern as hell. All right. Kansas State. Kansas State had a really close one against Tulane. That was a really good game. They were actually down by quite a bit. I remember it was like 20-7 or 20-3. Maybe. I feel like I'm all off. But Kansas State marched back. They dialed it back, and they pulled it out, found a way to win. And this was what I expected from this matchup. Not the big deficit, but just a close game. Tulane's not bad. Like I said before, Tulane had a solid team last year. They went 11-3 for their record last year. So Kansas State still rocking strong, still a likely contender to win that Big 12, right in that top 3. Oklahoma, we got Oklahoma up here, okay? Let me see what Oklahoma has done. I haven't checked them out too much. Oklahoma. Okay, yeah, there's a reason they're right here. I forgot they escaped a win against Houston, 16-12. Ooh, the spread is 13.5 against Tulane. Take Tulane on that spread right there. Okay, so I'm telling you, that's what I'm gonna take. And then they get that victory. They play Tennessee at home. That's a big one that I'll definitely be excited to see. All right, let's keep a watch out for that. LSU. Let's see. LSU beat down Nicholls State. They got South Carolina coming up, UCLA, Alabama, South Alabama, Ole Miss. Jury's still out on LSU. I think they're a strong team, but it's a tough schedule, so we'll see. And Iowa State was rocking with them hard. Remember, my dark horse to win the Big 12. And then Clemson. Clemson bounced back. A lot of people took App State to cover against them this week, and they shut all that down, had like a 66-20 victory against App State. So, like I said before, let's not worry about Clemson. I don't think their quarterback is the best, but this is still a team with good players. They just ran into that super buzzsaw in week 1 against Georgia. Maybe they weren't as ready as they should have been, but it's still a tough Georgia team you're going against that's always going to be ready. All right. And let's see, I just want to have a peep here at the rankings and just show you what I would switch around if it was up to me. All right. Oregon would bounce Oregon out of the top 10 with USC and Miami. I'd put Tennessee in front of Missouri, and these are just little nitpicks, guys. This isn't anything too crazy. All right. Ooh, Notre Dame. I'd probably have to move Notre Dame back, guys. You know I like Notre Dame, but you can't be losing in Northern Illinois. But all right, guys, that wraps it up for this college football edition of We the Champs. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We got more coming. It's not about to stop, guys. It's a full train headed towards you, all right? Like, subscribe, comment. We the Champs. We out. Peace.